Hey everyone, this is Maregaal Ben Yaakov. Welcome to my YouTube channel or my Facebook page if you're watching through Facebook. And before we get all started, be sure, if you don't mind, hit my subscribe button and the like button, and if you like this video, that is, and the notification bell, so every time I post it will help when I get more subscribers, help my channel out, and YouTube will recognize me more. Anyway, today is October 14th, Friday afternoon, around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and today I want to discuss, if we have time, I'm going to try to discuss 3 chapters in Leviticus. And in the future, I want to do like Exodus chapter 20 through the end of 24 and discuss all the laws. A lot of people think there's just 10 commandments. This is the Christian world, not the Jewish world. And when in fact there are over 613. Now the rabbis, or one rabbi in the past, counted like 613 commandments, but when you thin out the repetitious ones. However, I don't know if that's true. I can't confirm that, but because I haven't deleted all the repetitious ones myself. I counted over like 930 way back in the day. I mean, way back, like in 1989 or something, when I wrote them all out, I came across them. But over time, I come across more, that's not point blank. Anyway, today I want to discuss Leviticus chapter 18 through 20, because in these 3 chapters are just big swaths of just laws, for the community and for the nation, individually, or for kings and people and blah, blah, blah. Now, some of the things, what I want to discuss is what's ethically, our ethic commandments. And in these commandments, you can see, now I'm going to say some blasphemous stuff that people may not like to hear, especially if they're thinking the Bible is given by God, is the Word of God. And, usually get that from Christian folks and ultra-Orthodox of my group. I was Orthodox myself back in the day, but and someone said to me, "Oh my God, this is not, written by Moses," I would have freaked out. But I come to realize that's true. The more I study the book, you can see it. So anyway, I want to talk about, so I'm going to say some so-called blasphemous stuff, to, the old faithful. Kind of, because in these chapters it talks about slavery, things like that, and slavery is not of God. Yes, it's right in the Bible, one man should not own another person. However, this was the culture of most societies back in the day. And one got to realize, because some people say, like rabbis and stuff, this is the law of Moses, written around, depending what group you're in. Now, I'm more of when I was observing, I was more of a biblical only guy, so I would add up to dates, and Moses would have had to live around, the Exodus would be somewhere around 1504 BCE, but the rabbis claim it was around 1230 because Ramses is mentioned, and so they took that literally, like it was written by him at the time of Ramses, when in fact it was written right after we came out of Exodus. So, out of Persia. And so a lot of people don't understand, time date stamps. You can't say, say for example, if someone gives you a book and says this book was written in the 1500s, and all of a sudden you read United States of America, that's a lie. It had to be written after 1776, obviously. So the Tanakh, or the Torah, and the whole Jewish Bible, called the Tanakh, what Christians call the Old Testament, has these things in there that you cannot say at a certain time frame because it didn't exist yet. So anyway, so I'm going to touch on things that might be blasphemous, and most of the time when someone calls me as a blasphemer, it's usually coming from the Christian camp, not from too many Jewish folks, I'll be honest with you, a lot of Jewish people don't know their own Bible at all, so They just kind of go with what the rabbis say. And the rabbis study more of the oral law and all these traditions versus what the actual book says. So, and they find neat ways to contradict, to whatever teach their doctrine. And anyway, I'm going to touch on Leviticus 18 through 20 if I can. I'm only giving myself like a half hour talking, because there's so much memory being burned on I'm only using my phone right now. I don't have like this high tech stuff. Anyway, I just did the new background. These are my rock carvings. This is what I do for a living. Anyway, I got some blue lights, because it seems like a lot of people online and even the news shows have like a blue background. I don't know what the deal is, but whatever. So anyway, I'm going to read from the Sonsino Press. I'm not sure how you say that, but obviously I'm not going to read Hebrew for you, because you won't understand it in the English world. So the English side of it is typically the JPS, the Jewish Publication Society, so I'm going to read that. It's very close to the King James, but the verses might be a tad different. Anyway, I'm just going to go through all the verses of chapter 18 and see how much time we got. I'm going to discuss each one if need be, okay, and break it down. And so, like I said, or started to touch on, I want to talk about what should be accepted today, in modern societies, and especially America, and what should be rejected, which also points out it was not God-breathed, per se. But a lot of people don't understand when this law was given or written. We were coming out of Babylon and Persia, and so it was written around 385. That's my guess because of what those timestamps words are. And so you can see my other videos for that stuff to prove my case. And but nonetheless, when people say this is the law of Moses, blah, 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 or maybe it was borrowed from Hammurabi, and it might have been because we're coming from Babylon, but what we have today is more of a religious text, okay? Like where the Code of Hammurabi is dated around the 1700s BCE, when he lived, and it is the law code of the land, period, point blank. That's what they found. It's written right there in stone. So we don't have that because we never found like this is the laws of the kingdom of Judah or the laws of the kingdom of Israel, or if it's true, the 12 tribes were united at one time, if the legends are true according to the Bible, which there's, if you know the Bible, it's full of hooey, fake myths, things like that. So it's hard to gather the truth, but we haven't found anything. This is the laws of Hezekiah during his kingdom, or I am Hezekiah, these are the laws of my land. We have not found a genuine law from that time period, okay? Like Hezekiah is around 700 BCE, where the law that we have in this book, the Torah, came around like 390, 380, somewhere around there after Ezra. And like if you look in Nehemiah 9, Yom Kippur didn't exist yet because they're celebrating on the 24th day. And, are trying to do this crude, archaic Yom Kippur ritual. They're fasting, put on ashes and sackcloth, blah, blah, blah. There's no mention of it when they read the law on the first day of the 7th month, when Yom Kippur, according to the Bible in 3 places, is supposed to be held on the 10th day. But it doesn't seem like there was any, they weren't aware of it. So after the festival of Feast of Tabernacles, that's when they started fasting. And they probably reasoned with themselves, let's have it before the great feast to purge ourselves from sins, and so it just got put in. So it seems like just by that alone, the Torah that we have today was written after Nehemiah 9. So whatever they had, we don't know. But the fact is, we don't have a law code like the Code of Hammurabi. What we have is, we didn't have any rulers. We had governors maybe, because Cyrus is over us. he was the ruler of all the lands. Then Alexander and things like that. So we never had a law code of the kingdom. So a lot of it's religious law, a lot of it, or ethical law. So we're going to delve into that. And you got to understand, like slavery, that was kind of a world thing. Everybody did it. But you could tell just by slavery alone, it's not from God, because why would God make all people and have another group enslave them? No, that's not kosher. So, or other things like that. So we're going to get into it. So I'm just going to start today. Like I said, hit the like button, whatever. If you have any comments, leave a comment. You full of hooey, blah, blasphemy, or whatever. So anyway, I need glasses, but to read, eyes a little blurry. But I'm going to start with Leviticus 18. And 18 and 20 of Leviticus are very similar. One gives the laws, then one gives the laws of consequence. Like if you sin against that law, chapter 20 tells you what happens when you do sin. Like you're put to death, you're thrown into exile, you can't come back. Like say for example here, if you live in America and you did this, you have to be kicked out of all of America. You have to live in Mexico. We don't care where, Canada, just you have to get out. And we'll just put you on a plane, parachute you out with a squirrel outfit, and you can fly wherever you want. You're just not coming back here. So anyway, so we'll get into that. And so let's start with 18. Like I said, this is JPS, Jewish Publication Society. Is very close to the King James Version, if it's not the exact same one, with a little corrections here and there. And so let's start. Let's see where I'm at. See, it's right here. And the Lord spoke unto Moshe, or Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. You'll see in Hebrew it's Yehovah. Some people say the scholarly name, like made in the 1800s, Yahweh. Anyway, if you read it as is, it's Yehovah. Okay? And so I'm not going to touch on that, but it baffles me why, like Messianics will say Yahweh, when Yahweh, it's Yehovah. It's basically, you see it in the names. Like in every culture back in the day, they put the deity's name in personal names, like Nebuchadnezzar, Nebo. For Nebuchadnezzar, he was a deity. Or Tiglath-Pileser, is the Azar on the end is like a Shira, I believe, at the end of the name. So you see these, and so when you come to the Jewish people, like Yehoshaphat or Yehoshua, the Yeho is the beginning of the name, Yehovah. So it's never lost. It's right there. It's just not said, hush, hush, you don't say it, okay? That's my opinion. But anyway, let's move on. I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye... Now, let me say one thing. I have to interrupt myself many times. The Bible, the narrators are, redactors of the Torah. The people who compiled it together and all these whatevers, all these manuscripts, and made one big story out of it. They made it appear we were always monotheistic going astray, but in reality we were always polytheistic. And monotheism is kind of new. It started probably during the days of after the Persian Zoroastrianism came around. And so we're always polytheistic, and El was the chief god, the father, God of gods, the father of all gods. He had a wife, Ashura. That's actual physical, genuine archaeological history. You can find it in the rock, you can find it in stuff, okay? So over time, somehow, some way, people, kind of like Romans thought their dude, Jupiter, was the same as Zeus, and so they got that name, so it kind of went back and forth. Well, kind of in a similar way, here's this other dude named Yehoah, and he replaced El. And so they kind of over time, go hand in hand, where El was always the chief god, and Yehoah may not even been a part of old Canaanite religion. It might have been some other tribe somewhere else. It might be a part of some Canaanite tribe. I should back that up. Because there's many tribes in Canaan, but but somehow it became unified. Or El and Yehoah became, as looked at the same person almost. So anyway, blah blah blah. So I use El, and I don't use Yehoah or Yahweh, Jehovah, or whatever. I don't use that no more. I used to, but not no more. Anyway, after the doings of the land, let me go back. It says, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, ye shall not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, where I bring you, shall not do. Neither shall ye walk in their statutes. Mine ordinances shall ye do, and my statutes shall you keep, to walk therein. I am the Lord your God. You shall therefore keep my statutes and mine ordinances, which if a man do, he shall live by them. Meaning your whole life, your mentality, your conduct, your way of speech has to be grounded in the Torah. So again, your whole life has to be grounded in the Torah, all encompassing from your thoughts. Like Christians will say, take every thought into captivity, to a point, yes, like that, because you are judging every thought according to all this vast law. Am I allowed to think this way? I'll give you an example. Okay, kind of like the Jesus thing. Jesus didn't say anything new. He just kind of broke it down for others. And say, for example, when you read the commandment of the 10 sayings, thou shalt not commit adultery. Okay, that's an actual physical deed right there, okay? But it all starts right here, and that's why commandment 10 of the Decalogue is right there. The 10 sayings. We say sayings, not commandments, because the first one is not a commandment, it's a statement. I am the Lord your God, brought you out of Egypt. So, but the 10th one says, thou shalt not covet, blah, 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 your neighbor's wife. So it starts right there. You cannot commit adultery if you never coveted it in the first place. So it all starts right here. It starts in your mind, whatever your thought process. It's like when you want to go steal something, do not covet, do not covet, do not covet. So now it's okay. I'm going to break it down just for a second. If you see your neighbor's boat, for example, and you're like, oh, that's a nice boat, to a point, that's coveting. But not if you go up to them. There's a kosher coveting. But so if you go up to them, hey, are you willing to sell that boat to me, man? I'll give you some, make you a good, make me throw me what you want for it, and I'll pay it, blah, blah, blah. That's kosher coveting. But ungodly coveting, you're like, oh, I want that boat, and so you break into his property or go into his property and steal it. Like in modern days, it's on a trailer hitch, blah blah blah, or it's on a dock, you untie and get it to start and you just take off. And so that's unkosher coveting. So this is what I want to get into. Okay, break things down. So we never were, we were the Hyksos. We're back in the day. Some of us were polytheistic. We worshipped Egyptian gods at that time. That part of us did. And so anyway, there was no genuine Egyptian exodus. We were the Hyksos people, and King Amos in 1522 kicked us out and drove us to Canaan. Look it up. Don't take my word for it, okay? If I remember, I'll put a link below, okay? Look all that stuff up. So anyway, but the authors made it sound like we were always monotheistic, and so we just got snared there, blah blah blah, and we just learned their practices. And so where Abraham and all this told you to live a certain way, and we stopped doing it, blah blah blah. So okay, so that's false. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see. verse 4, chapter 18. Mine ordinances shall ye do, my statutes shall ye keep, to walk therein. I am the Lord your God. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my ordinances, which if a man do, he shall live by them. I am the Lord. Verse 6, none of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord. So, not like your brother, not your sister, not your mom, not your dad's wife. Doesn't matter how many wives there are, because we had polytheism back in the day. Not polytheism, but polygamy back in the day. And in some Jewish camps in modern days, we still do polygamy. And like the Yemenite Jews. And so, anyway, regardless, like if you're Solomon, you have 700 wives and 300 concubines, you cannot approach your dad's wife. So on, he's been with, okay? And so anyway, so I'm going to break that down. So, but a lot of people who read this view it with a modern viewpoint. All right, verse 7. The nakedness of thy father and the nakedness of thy mother thou shalt not uncover. Now this has to be broken down, because this is one of the reasons why the authors, when they were making up or regurgitating the ancient Gilgamesh story of Noah, they had Noah the son saw his nakedness, and so he was not allowed to, and so Noah cursed his grandson. And blah, blah, blah. Now, there's a stupid Jewish saying, that Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay, that Japheth, when he uncovered his nakedness, now this is just stupid oral tradition that's been handed down. There's no authentic. The story's fake anyway, but I mean, it just gets worse, okay? So Japheth, when he uncovered his nakedness, I'm going to be point blank here, foul maybe, but he cut off his balls or his ding-a-ling, okay? And so this is why after the flood, Noah couldn't have any more kids, because he cut off his testicles or his ding-a-ling. And so that's why he got cursed. Cursed be Japheth's son, his grandson. Noah's grandson. And so, because like when you read Adam or this person or that person, after so many years they had more kids. Blah, 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 and they died of ripe old age. Well, the flood occurred, and when Noah was, he was told, the 120 is not how long he'll live, because there's a contradiction, because some people don't understand that. They think you'll live only 120 years. No, that's false. According to the narrative and the story is, when Noah was 500 years old, the Lord gave the human race 120 years to repent. Okay? So, or somewhere around there, maybe before he was 500. And maybe when he was 480 years old, might be more like it. And so, to correct myself, and so when he was 600 years old, the flood came. And so no one repented. No one turned their back. So the Lord gave them 120 years, and it gave Noah plenty of time to build this big old ark. That's supposed to carry all the animals. 2 of each or 7 of each, depending on what verse and chapter you want to use. But nonetheless, this is why. You don't see, like the other ancestors, you don't see Noah after the flood. Now, he was only 600, according to the story, when the flood came. Well, there's 300 plus years to his life, and he doesn't have any more kids. So it's only the 3, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So the commentators came, his balls were cut off, or his dingling was cut off, and that's why. So, it's just stupid, but, kind of, there's no biblical proof of that at all. So anyway, let's move on. But you're not allowed to see your dad's private parts ever. You know, that's just not allowed, and nor your mom. So when it comes to the mom, however, because the moms have to nurse, so there's a time limit when a child in Jewish oral common sense teaching, in biblical that is, I don't know about the rabbinical, I don't care what they have to say. Anyway, but I'm sure it might be similar. Anyway, when a child starts knowing right from wrong on a good basis, you're not allowed to nurse anymore because they burn images in their mind, and so you're not allowed to see your mom's nudity. So it's like now I can't think of stuff I did when I was 2 and 1 years old. So that's the point. You have to wean them off, you know, at a certain age time frame. You know, where I know some women personally back in the past, they nursed, you know, until the daughter was like 7 years old, and I'm like, what the blank? You know, I get it from a woman's perspective, even though it's perverse because she wants her breasts bigger, maybe to flirt with people, and I get all that, you know, but I understand that, but you're being perverse, and so you have to wean them off early, and so you cannot see your mom's nakedness nor your dad's nakedness. You know, you can show them how to go to the bathroom without personally demonstrating. So gotta be kosher, so that kind of goes into like the oral stuff and breaking stuff down like that. I don't know how much time I got. Anyway, let's go back. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's. Let's go back. The nakedness of thy father's. Let's go back. Where am I? Oh. The nakedness of thy father and the nakedness of thy mother thou shalt not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Then it breaks it down a little bit more. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. Why is it saying that when it just says don't uncover your mom's nakedness? Well, people get divorced, marry somebody else. And back in the day, they were polygamous. So they had more than one wife. Like Jacob had 4 wives. Isaac had just 1. Abraham had 2. Sarah and Hagar. You know, David had at least 14. And Solomon's 700 plus the 300 concubines. And blah, blah, blah. And goes on and on and on. And so anybody your dad is married to, you are not allowed to see that female naked. That's talking from a man's perspective, obviously. So yes. So you're not allowed. So, I mean, like in modern days with our way of thinking, it's just getting more skimpier and skimpier, you know, like say bathing suits. Even back in the 50s when they were way more modest than they are now, you're not allowed to see skin from the neck to the knee, okay? That's just kind of there. And so nowadays, like you could go to some beaches, you know, or like even volleyball games, you know, where their booty is totally showing, you know, and just hardly nothing on the front side. And see, that's totally unkosher. As a dad, you can't see your daughter that way. And or if you are a son, you can't see your mom that way. So it would have to be like a beach for women only with no relatives allowed at the same time, you know, and a men only beach, you know, things like that, you know, if you want to go kind of nude or something, you know, like that. So anyway, so you have to kind of break it down. A lot of this is kosher. You can still have that type of dress code or morality, but some of it in modern days people don't care, you know, and there's no, you know, you're not harming anybody, you're just getting a tan. So on the ethic ways, you know, yeah, you don't want to obviously lust after your mom or your dad's new girlfriend or whatever. That's not allowed. So anyway, let's see where I'm at. The nakedness of the father is covered. Verse 9. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of your father, or the daughter of thy mother, whether born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. So, no sisters, don't approach them whatsoever, okay? And now it doesn't say like this, like if your dad marries another woman and the woman already has a daughter, that's a whole different definition. So that daughter you could covet, kosher covet, but not if she is your mom. Okay, so I hope that's clear on that. Verse 10, the nakedness of thy son's daughter, that is your granddaughter obviously, or of thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is thine own nakedness. So yeah, don't approach a sister, a genuine sister. So anyway, or a granddaughter. I mean, you get my head mixed put on right. Anyway, yeah, don't approach a granddaughter no matter what. That's just a high perversion. So verse 11. Now quit, turn it off. The nakedness of thy father's wife's, the nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Okay, we just touched on that. So let me stop right here and turn off. Anyway, verse 12. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. She is thy father's near kinswoman. That is your aunt. Yeah, she's a close relative. No, you can't uncover her. So even if your aunt's sexy, whatever, you're not personally, whatever, there's not a sister or anything like that, but you cannot see her nakedness by view, and you cannot uncover her to be with her. Nope, can't do it. Verse 13, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is thy mother's near kinswoman, your aunt, or aunt, however you say it. Can't see her naked either, not in a bikini, nothing like that. So if there's a pool party and they're around, you can't see them. Now in modern days, it'd be, it's different, but if you want to live the kosher biblical lifestyle, you can't see them in a bathing suit. But in modern America, yeah, it's okay. It's not showing everything. Now the booty and all that, okay, that's a little different, like the G-string, but you're still seeing everything, even though it's really thin. So yeah, it's just not too kosher. Okay. Verse 14, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife. She is thy aunt. Alright, that's just, you can take it as is at the beginning, like it's talking about being gay, but it's not being gay because it breaks it down more. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife. She is thine aunt. So, your brother's wife. And so, let's see. Verse 15, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law. She is thy son's wife. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Yeah. So, I mean, even though she's not related in any way like that, blah, 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 that's just unkosher and a perversion, and it corrupts family ties. Why would you sleep with my girlfriend or wife? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you don't do that. So, let's see. Verse 16, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Now this is a serious penalty. So it doesn't matter, okay, say she already has the woman. You just met a girl, like I meet a lot of girls on the street, whatever, and a lot of them have daughters, and all of a sudden, like say I fall in love with the mom, but the daughter is like 25, highly attractive, and you're with them both. That is a high perversion, and in the penalties of chapter 20, you burn us all up. You throw us into the fire, you kill us. So that's the judgment of that one. So yeah, it's a high illegal deal. So, and it doesn't say if it's a threesome or not. It has not a point in it. It's just you being with a woman and then her daughter. You can't do that. So, where am I at? Verse 17, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Thou shalt not take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter. Okay, so none of that. To uncover her nakedness. They are near kin's women. It is lewdness. And 18, thou shalt not take a, okay, what does it say? And thou shalt not take a woman to her sister to be a rival to her, to uncover her nakedness besides the other in her lifetime. Okay, this is a direct contradiction of biblical stories, and talking about Jacob marrying Rachel and Leah, or actually it went the other way, Leah first then Rachel. And so the rabbis or sages back in the day, well, let's put that in there because our own narrative kind of throws stuff off, and they were always fighting, and so you can't do that. And so they made that law back in coming out of Persia: do not marry a woman and her sister, because it's just going to cause problems for you. And kind of want it peaceful. So in a polygamous society, you're always going to get the jealousy, but some of the reasons why polygamy was allowed is because there's laws so you can't be with a woman during her menstrual period time, or she can't get pregnant, and so and so you can't be with her during her menstruation times, which could be up to 14 days during the whole month. Can't be with her, can't lay with her. I mean, you can, but not during holy days, you know. And I mean, you could sleep next to each other and just be unclean. If any blood gets on you and you touch her, you're unclean. It's kind of like a cootie thing. But nonetheless, you can't be with her during holy days. Like right now, this time frame is this Sukkot time, Feast of Tabernacles. So she's unclean. She can't participate with you or be with you in your. She has to have her own tent and can't be in your tent, and you have to stay away so you can be holy. Things like that. So anyway, blah blah blah. Let me move on. Let's go read 17 again. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Thou shalt not take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover their nakedness. They are near kinsmen. It is lewdness. Thou shalt not take a woman to her sister. Okay, that's where I left off. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go to 19. And thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness as long as she is impure by her uncleanness. That's talking about her period. So she's having her period even in childbirth, because it's the same blood flow, similar blood flow. You are not allowed to see her private area while nude during her uncleanness, or right at childbirth when she's getting unclean. You're not allowed to see it. That's why there are midwives. And so, and that is exactly why boys are circumcised on the 8th day. Not some medical reason. It's because the kid who comes out, like the boy comes out, he's touching that blood and he's unclean for 7 days. So on the 8th day, he's clean from that menstruation period. And that's when the dad could come and circumcise him. That's why he's circumcised on the 8th day, okay? And so it has nothing to do with medical stuff whatsoever. It's just a cootie thing, traditional thing, and things like that. So where did I leave off? I don't know. Okay, verse 20. And thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her. That is, do not commit adultery. So your wife might have, the neighbor might have a fine old girl, whatever. And now I'm going to touch on stuff. I don't know what verse that was, but anyway, there's going to be something a little different and heretical in American culture versus this is old Israeli culture. Big difference, okay? See, here there's kind of a Christian type of viewpoint, blah, 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 mentality and the blending of stuff. And so here, if I were to, especially now, say about 50 years ago, or even less, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, if I were to sleep with my neighbor's wife, it's like so taboo. Well, nowadays it's like, yeah, it's still wrong, but it's not like mega wrong. Maybe for a divorce court, yes. But in old Israeli culture, this is a tribal book for the people of Judea and Israel. So it's tribal, only for them, doesn't care about any other society, and that's the main point. So if you see a woman and she's married to a fellow clans person, not Ku Klux Klans, but a tribe member, you are not allowed to approach that woman. However, the big however is, if you see a pretty woman that's a foreigner and you want to be with her, even though she's married over there, it has no significance, because that's a whole different tribe, a whole different culture and things like that. Yeah, you're allowed to be with that girl, marry her, whatever it takes, And so win her over, because her marriage is meaningless in Israeli culture. I hope that's clear. So, but here in America, it's just like they don't care if you're fornicating, adultery. Now, court will do that. Well, you might get a judgment on you. You lose everything because you're the one who broke the vow. You have to pay alimony because you're the one who cheated, and blah, blah, blah. So, but as far as high condemning, there's not a high condemnation here anymore. But back there, if I were to sleep with my neighbor's wife, that is of my people, tribe, or one of the other 11 tribes, that's a death penalty for me. Why? Because they made a vow before El, and only those vows are valid. Where the vows of others, they made a vow, and the Babylonian god Marduk, or Thor over here, the Norse myths, or Zeus, those vows don't mean anything. They're invalid. Doesn't matter. So it has no significance. So hope I'm clear. Let's see where I'm at. All right, 21. And thou shalt not give any of thy seed to set them apart to Moloch. Neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. I am the Lord. So that means human sacrifice. So do not sacrifice your virgin male or daughter to be given as a sacrifice, because that's like the ultimate of all ultimate sacrifices. It's one thing to kill an animal, like this, where you don't have too deep. I mean, you might like your animals, don't get me wrong, but you're not going to have that connection as you would your son or daughter who you've been raising. And so the ultimate sacrifice is to sacrifice one of your kids to have the God be so pleased. Wow, you sacrificed your son to me. Wow, okay. This is the superstition they had back then. And so, and blah, blah, blah. And you see it in the Bible a few times, where people did that. And so, let's see if I can put these glasses on. So yeah, no human sacrifices. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. So that is point blank, outright. That says what it says, okay? You are not allowed to be gay, homosexual, transgender, this fake gender, blah, blah, blah. And, there's only two genders or two sexes, whatever you want to say. There's only two, male and female. Doesn't matter if I'm a guy and I cut off my ding-a-ling and my testicles or whatever and, put a big old whatever in me. That doesn't make me a woman, okay? It doesn't matter if a woman wants to stitch on something, try to, cut off her boobs or whatever and take testosterone or whatever. That does not change you. That is you having a mental issue. If you want to be gay, now in old times, if you want to be gay, and if you got caught, that's a death penalty. Modern days, who gives a flying rip? No one cares. You're not hurting anybody, unless you're... Now, back in my early days, not talking about me being gay, but guys who were gay were pretty forceful. I mean, grab me by my arm, let's go, force, grab me right here, grope me. I was just like, damn, dude. I was like, you're like a rapist almost. And it's like a gay rapist. And But nonetheless, that's the only time when you're hurting somebody. But just like Bruce Jenner calls himself some stupid girl name now. So, but regardless of that, he is still a male, okay? And, if he wants to dress like a girl, cut off his ding-a-ling, and pretend to be a girl, whatever, and talk funny, whatever. That's his deal. That's his own mental whatever. But, nonetheless, you are always, if you're born male, you're a male. If you're born a female, you're a female, period. Doesn't matter. So, I mean, it's like, so all homosexuality, according to the Bible, this is the Bible, not modern days. Modern days, no one gives a crap if you want to, cut off your thing, be gay, sleep with a dude, doesn't matter. They don't care. But biblical days, homosexuality was a high offense. You died on the basis of 2 or 3 witnesses. You're out. So it's just point blank wrong, according to the Bible, that is. Now, in modern days, no one cares. It's not considered wrong. And, me personally now, it's not, it's just, if you covet if you're a guy and you covet another guy, that's you. I wouldn't call it wrong. It's just, for me personally, it's just nasty for me. So, but, and you're just, whatever. I'll leave my opinions to myself for right now. But, verse 23. Thou shalt not lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith, neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is a perversion. And so, yeah, no bestiality whatsoever. Now, somebody made a crack joke on some show I was watching. He goes, that's just torment, That's like being tormented in Islamic land when you put a garter belt or chastity belt on a goat. I couldn't believe when I heard that, because the American saying is, they're so desperate over there because you can't see the women. They'll just hump anything, so their goats are always being probed like an alien probes you. It's like aliens are all gay because they like to come down and probe you. So, but anyway, that's pretty funny. And thou shalt not lie with beasts, blah, blah, blah. Verse 24, defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out from before you. And the land was defiled therefore, and I did visit the iniquity thereof upon it, and the land vomited out her inhabitants. Ye therefore shall keep my statutes and mine ordinances, and shall not do any of these abominations, neither the homeborn nor the stranger that sojourneth among you. So even if you have a foreigner coming in, once he's in, okay, there's in modern times, or just recently, okay, there is the women's basketball league, whatever, I forgot her name, a black lady. She went to Russia, and she had a one of those e-cigs and had marijuana in there. Well, she got put in jail. Well, dude, the moment you cross the border of any country, you are now obligated to obey those laws of that country. So in ancient times, if you come across the border of Israel and you break certain laws, you're held accountable for that laws. You're held accountable according to those laws, not what the laws were in your country. So I mean, so it has no their rules have no jurisdiction. The moment you step over, if you're like say a homosexual in old ancient times, and you stepped in the land of Israel with your boyfriend, and they don't know that, but then someone catches you, making out with this dude, both of you are executed. That's how it went down. And so, based on 2 or 3 witnesses. So, anyway, let's see, where am I at? So, it counts for any stranger that comes in. It's like all these Mexicans and Nicaraguans and people coming in flooding our country at the southern border. The first deed they commit is a trespass against American sovereignty because you're not allowed to cross the border. So they're breaking the law the moment they step over them. So we don't have to take them in, but we got an evil president right now. He's just dumb. I mean, they're just beyond, stupid and naive and whatever. So they just lie all the time. The border's secure. Yeah, the biggest, influx of illegals coming in. Yeah, the border ever, and you're saying the border's secure. Okay, you're smart. Anyway, blah blah blah. So the laws, when you come to America, you're doing American law. Okay, your laws wherever you came from don't apply no more. The same with biblical days. When you come into ancient Israel, these laws, what you find in this book, applies to you now. So if you don't know them, that's your ignorance. It's better to study before you go in, or get some basic stuff, so you don't mess up. Let's see where I'm at. Let's see. Mine ordinances shall not do. Okay. 26. Ye therefore shall keep my statutes and my ordinances, and shall not do any of these abominations, neither the homeborn nor the stranger that sojourneth among you. For all these abominations have the men of the land done that were before you, and the land is defiled. That the land vomited not you out, that the land vomit not you out also, when ye defile it, as it vomited out the nations that was before you. For whosoever shall do any of these abominations, even the souls that do them shall be cut off from among their people. Therefore shall ye keep my charge, that ye do not any of these abominable customs which were done before you, and that ye defile not yourselves therein. I am the Lord your God. And that was the whole chapter of 18. I spent a lot of time already on chapter 18 and do a lot of editing. And I was reading from the JPS because the Hebrew is Hebrew over here, and a lot of Hebrew translations will just use the basic JPS. So in my video editing, I'll put it right here, and I hope you like my new blue. And thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, the like button, and all that. Give a comment, just whatever you like it, or you hate it, you fool of hooey, you homophobe, or whatever the case is. And hopefully you get this correct and hear it right, and you know the differences between modern stuff and how they viewed it back then. All right, talk to you guys later, and thank you for watching. And hopefully I'll make some more videos now. Now I got like a little studio set up right here in my shop, versus my old one. I had the tools in the background. That's next door. But anyway, all right, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.